soon enough whether Brandon Ayuk is at practice, but right now we turn our attention back to the Kings, and nice enough to join us, outstanding Kings public address and now Fox 40 host Scott Moak is with us. How are you today, Scott?
Outstanding. I mean, let's take it easy there, Whitey. Come on, man.
What's up, Scott? What's that picture behind you, man? That's not from your playing career, is it?
It's not. I don't play sports. I just watch them. I'm in my Republic office. A lot of people don't know that I also work for the local professional soccer team. That was a court that we opened up, a community court at Maple Park. It used to be a tennis court with weeds knee high and unusable, and we turned it into a mini pitch soccer court. But I'm right outside Golden One side. I don't know if that'll show, but like offices, look at that, baby. You could probably get a glimpse where we're at. I'm right there in Doco. Like, we're rocking and rolling, baby. We're right here.
Wow.
We're ready.
Wow.
We're ready.
Guy. Yeah. That's a nice office. Okay.
Scott, first of all, thank you so much for helping us out with our list. We appreciate it. We've got an incredible panel, and we couldn't have done it without you. I'm hoping you had some fun with the list, or was it was a little arduous and a little difficult to pick this guy over that guy when you've come to know and kind of be a fan of so many of these guys?
It was tough. I feel like knowing where to kind of break the top 10, and then down at the bottom, I felt like I was really struggling in that kind of 31 to 40 range. I had trouble with guys. I don't know how deep we'll get in, but I had trouble with guys like, Tyrese Halliburton, for example. Like I didn't know what to do. Like, I love the guy. We all loved him. I know, trades happen, and I felt like what he meant to this city and what he still in some cases means to the Kings because of what we were able to get for him. I feel like he belongs somewhere, but like putting him ahead of Lionel Simmons felt weird.
Yeah.
So I couldn't that was tough, man. It was a tough assignment, but thank you for letting me be a part of it, for sure.
Yeah, no problem, Scott. One of my criteria, I guess, for a top 40 is, if you were only here for half a year, or, Bonzi Wells, for instance, a lot of people talk, Bonzi Wells, but he was only here a year, had a great playoff. I get that. What were some of the criteria? Did you have a line of demarcation in terms of how long somebody played or what they averaged or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, it was good. Your rules were great, and you talked about you talked about success that players had to have playing for the Kings. I also, of course, because I got to work for that handful of years with the Kings, most on the community side. So seeing what some of these guys would invest, not just on the court and with statistics, but also off the court with families and communities and real people.
Yeah.
I could not take that out of the equation. Like, there was no chance I was not going to be able to include that. Is why I struggled with not including a guy like Caron Butler on that list and Garrett Temple on that list. So like, those are two guys, for example, that I would say what they meant into this community for the time they were here was rich, deep. They moved some people, and yet on the top 40 list is tough because those other names are super good. But I definitely tried to stick to that. Obviously, playing 1 year, the excitement they bring to fans, the excitement they bring to the city, what they mean to this team. I mean, I was going to games when I was 12 years old, and so had to kind of really put my thinking cap on even when I was a younger kid, watching games from the upper level of the old arena. So now two arenas ago. So it was a tough assignment, man. But I loved it. It was so fun. It got me ready for Kings basketball. That's for damn sure.
That, of course, is the unmistakable voice of Scott Moak, one of our selectors. And I don't know how much you've seen of this, Scott, but Tyrese, as you may know, did not quite make the top 40. He was like 42nd, essentially. He was one of our honorable mentions. So a lot of people struggled with that. Then we had 40 through 31 yesterday. A lot of really excellent players have come through here, of course. What do you think of now? Number 34 was Keegan, and he was on my list. How did you deal with that issue of, look, guys like Keegan, Malik, they've had a huge impact, but they haven't been here that long. Was that a struggle for you in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it for sure was. That's where I landed in that kind of lower section of that was that late 20s, early 30s where I really struggled. I did find Malik on that list. I think what he has meant to this city, what he will mean to this city in the years to come, obviously with him coming back. I mean, what a massive win for the Kings that was. But, I had Malik grouped around guys like Reggie Theus and Hito and Olden Polynice. I even have Jason Thompson right there around that number 2 because of, the sheer number of games that he played. Again, the what he endured. I'm pretty sure I'm not the statistics numbers guy. You guys know that, but I'm pretty sure Jason Thompson had 431 different coaches while he was here with the team. It was 431 or 432. It was somewhere right in there.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, Scott, that was a good one. That was a good one.
He does comedy too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Boom, boom, boom. Who was 40th on your list? That's always interesting to find out. Who was the guy that just snuck in on your list?
One of those guys that means a lot to me personally, that I've had some cool moments with over my career. Watched him on a television show on a deserted island with other survivors. Scott Pollard was my number 40.
Yeah. Okay.
He ended up 31 yesterday. And some of the guys you mentioned, Hito ended up at 33rd, OP at 36. And then Danny Ainge actually, and I know he got a number of votes higher for that. He ended up as number 40. And we continue today with the next 10. Who do you think are some of the Kings? You mentioned some names already. Some of the Kings through the years that you feel are maybe a little underrated in terms of how good they actually were.
Yeah, that was a super great question. I would say that underrated. I feel like Doug Christie, to be honest. I feel like what he meant to that team, right? To the team that he was on and what he was a part of here, but what he continues to be a part of. I mean, what he has meant to this city and to fans. I mean, he is one of those guys. You could say that Doug Christie is coming to this restaurant right down here today at 5:30, and there will be a line out the door waiting to meet him. So Bobby Jackson has that same effect. I'm not saying that people don't appreciate Doug and but what he did for that team, I got to see some of that, very, very close up. I mean, talk about the spiritual leader, he is a culture commander. He was just the one that brought them all together. He was such the tie that bound all those guys together in such a crucial way. If there was someone that was organizing a dinner party because the team had to get together and bond and figure it out, that was Doug. Doug was doing that. Yeah. And what he's meant for younger guys in his career now, I feel like we're still reaping that benefit. So.
You called him a culture commander? I've never heard that one before.
No, I never heard that. No.
Culture commander. Nice.
I mean, that's what Drake brings.
He's a wordsmith here, right?
When Draper goes golfing with us, he's the culture commander on the golf course. Let me tell you.
That's because my game is terrible.
We're losing my game is out there, and we're hot and sweating and having a tough time. And he's like, guys, you got this.
You got this. Right. Yeah. I like that. Culture commander.
You're the Kirkland commander too.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Scott, when I look at it, one of the things we talked about last week when we got word that Isaiah Thomas was working out with the Kings is which former King player would you like to see one more time in terms of finish out their career? We brought up C-Webb, Mitch, even DeMarcus Cousins. Who was that one guy for you?
That was the struggle for me. It was between Big Cuz and Isaiah on that question you asked around ending their career with the Kings. I gave the nod to Isaiah there just because, again, what he meant, what he continues to have a spot in Kings fans' hearts that will never, ever go away. And so I feel, and he was on my list. He was a significant number on my list. Seeing what's possible, what might happen this year for him to just be around that ice cold mentality, him being a part of anything. Look, anything I do in my life, if I could have Isaiah Thomas near me, I am better. I will be better for it. And that's I'll tell a quick story if you don't mind. I'm sure we got to probably get running here in a second, but we were doing some appearances back in the day with the Kings. We were out and about and player appearances, and Isaiah we had him out and doing something. I think it was at a grocery store and fulfilling some obligations. And he, of course, was great. On our way back, we're in the car and we're telling him about this story about this Kings fan, an elderly woman who lived in Natomas, who was literally it was her final days. Family had, 2 or 3 generations of Kings fans, all the things. And this gal, she is 90 something years old, loved Isaiah Thomas. And he, of course, says, let's go see her.
Ooh.
Let's go. So I'm like fiercely texting. I'm like trying to get a hold of the family. Like, hey, you'll never believe this. Don't tell your mom, but like, this is possible. We're on our way. We're going to go do it. We pull off of Truxell. We're going to head to her house. He's like, wait. We can't just come empty handed. We go into the Safeway. We literally Isaiah Thomas and us walking into the Safeway. He buys a bouquet of flowers. We jump back in the car. We go to the front door, knock on the door. Daughter opens up, immediately bawling, like ugly, nasty, awesome crying. We walk up the stairs. She's in the sweet older woman who you could tell down on health. We walk up into her room. She's laying in her bed. A Kings game is on. She's got it on like replay on this TV in her room. Isaiah opens the door with a thing of flowers. She looks at him and says, my boyfriend is here. And
wow.
Look, there are moments I will never forget in my life, the birth of my kids, like all the things, right? That one. And the fact that like he listened to her, he talked to her, she talked about basketball, talked about aging. I mean, and he just sat there like he was someone that knew that family for decades. It was one of the, I mean, when you work on the philanthropy side of sports teams, there are those moments that are just like, how could it get better than this? This is amazing. And you do have those. That was truly one of those special ones. And I love that I was there to see Isaiah in just some of his best time.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Scott. The way I heard the story was she said, I don't know who the guy with the flowers is, but Scott Moak is in my house. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but
that is not true.
All right. Thank you again so much for helping us. As you know, you are a local treasure. So much excitement here in the chat. Oh, Scott Moak, can you have him do this? Have him do that? It's like, no, we're not going to do that. He's not working, but that's nice.
Later, we'll get to that. Yeah. We got time for that. We got all October for that.
That's right.
Plenty of time.
So thank you very much. Yeah.
Hey, love what you guys mean. Love this show. Love what you mean to the city as well. You guys are icons. Drapes, we need to get back out on the course. Whitey, can't wait to be eating dinner with you pregame, and we'll see you guys real soon.
All right, appreciate that, Scott. All right,
appreciate that. Look at that.
Great guys.
Yes, you come in and you expect a lot. And then they give you that, and then
a little extra, right? More. How about that story?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that story. That's a tremendous.